Hello everyone, welcome to Just-InvestToday, and today we're going to be talking about 3 important mental techniques to achieve 100 baggers. So in my previous video, I talked about how you can get 100 baggers, and now in this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 important mental techniques to keep those 100 baggers. Because we all know in this market, everyone's doing crazy stuff, day trading, everything is going up and down. But in order to hold these stocks, you have to at least hold them for 5 years to achieve these high returns on your investment, and even longer because some studies show that in order to get those 100 bigger stocks, you got to hold for at least 20 years. So that's what we're looking for in this video. We're going to find out how to keep those 100 bigger stocks. Guys, in order to have these mental techniques, we got to make sure we buy these wonderful businesses. So when we buy these wonderful businesses, then we're at ease and we can use these mental techniques. So go to my last video to see what kind of businesses we want to buy. So the number one mental technique to think about is stop comparing yourself to other people in the market. Stop chasing your returns. Stop trying to focus on other people and focus on the S&P and on the Dow. And if you're not doing as good as them, then you kind of worry and you kind of make bad mistakes because that's going to hurt your returns. If you keep thinking about that, you're going to do weird stuff in the market. Like you're going to sell your stocks very early because you don't feel like this company is doing as good as the S&P because the S&P is going to keep going up. And you're going to take your stock, you're going to take it out the market, and then maybe 2-3 months later, you're going to put your money back into that market, into that investment. And then you would have lost some returns because that maybe that stock just shoots right back up on a day or two and that you don't even know. And then you already lost all that gain. So stop trying to force yourself. Stop trying to compare to your friends, the people on YouTube videos and all that type of stuff because you're going to lose out on probably good businesses that you're investing in. When Barron asked Mohnish Pabrai about his underperformance in the investment and his investments, he replied it's an irrelevant data point because he doesn't not focus on these short-term stretches. His stocks can do bad for 9 months, 8 months. He doesn't focus on those short-term stretches or even 10 months. He doesn't focus on that. He focuses on the long term. Those are irrelevant data points. He's investing for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years if that's the case. He's been holding stocks for that long. And you can see that all the time. You can see that some investors, even the best investors like Phil Town or Warren Buffett, it doesn't matter who it is, they do bad in stretches. Like it's gonna happen. Like you cannot just always do good. So remember, we're long-term investors. We're thinking long-term. So don't chase those investments. The second thing, don't get bored. When I say don't get bored, people in this market today are very bored and they want something to do. They gotta find that next huge biotech stock that's gonna gain 30% or even 40%, and they need to invest in it quick without doing any research. Everyone's bored. They treat everything like a casino. But they're forgetting that stocks are companies. They have lifespans. Companies take years and years to progress to make money. But people don't think of it like that. They just think about you can just see those 30% gains and they want to rush to put their money in. They don't want to do any research into these companies because they're just bored. They want something to do. They need to keep trading actively. And when you trade actively, that's going to hurt your returns. People pay an excitement tax. They want a good story, something that's just could alleviate them, make them feel good about their investments to see that 20% gain in 2 days. And that's not how we invest on this channel. We gotta think long term because those 30% gains can turn into 40% losses. So we gotta be mindful of what we're doing in the market to make these good, solid gains. So the third thing, ignore market forecasts. Yes, we're gonna ignore market forecasts because as investors, I know some people are just getting into investing and they want to look to the experts for opinions, but we got to remember these experts sometimes give really bad opinions. They're really wrong sometimes. There's been studies showing that 40% of analyst estimates can be wrong and they've been wrong. So you got to pay attention to that. Remember that when stocks are going down, we sometimes got to think we're contrarian investors sometimes. When we look at these stocks going down, we got to think of maybe we got to come to our own conclusion, our own thesis of why the stock is going down. And if this is a short-term problem, then that's a good thing. We want these short-term problems in these stocks and in these companies So, and because we're thinking of the long term. So when we're seeing these short-term problems in these companies, that's when we invest and pounce on these opportunities if the price is good. Because we thinking long term and we know these companies are gonna bounce back and return our investment, our money back to us. So we got to be careful about what the experts say because they're not always right, they're not always wrong. So we kind of sometimes we look to it for a little bit, but we got to clue it out, come to our own conclusions, come to our own thesis of a stock, and kind of stick to it because that's how you make money in the market. It's not by following so-called experts that are usually wrong about the stocks that they invest in. And remember, these experts can have like business deals with these companies. They can be friends with each other. They make money from buy and sell and all that type of stuff. They make money from all these transactions. So be careful about following these analysts, so to say, or people who talk about the stock because they usually can be wrong and they usually are wrong. So be careful about that. Market forecasts can also come when people talk about the Federal Reserve or about currencies and all that type of stuff. We got to remember, we got to kind of ignore that because it's not, we got to keep a little eye on it, but we don't want to generally ignore it because it's unproductive. If we find wonderful companies that can are recession proof, that are going to still grow strong or stay stable, and then they're going to be bigger after the recession, that's what the kind of business we want to find. And we want to put our attention to that, not the market forecast about what's gold's going to do, what the currency is going to do, what the Federal Reserve is going to do, about government officials, stuff like that. So we got to make sure we're paying attention to what the stocks we're going to buy and what the stocks we're going to have on our watch list and buying those stocks, holding wonderful businesses for a very long time. When it comes to selling the stocks, we want to only sell the stock if there's a change in our thesis. We just don't want to sell a stock because something the market done and what the market's doing. We can't focus on that. Remember again, we can't focus on the market too much. We gotta focus on our investment thesis. And the only time we want to sell a stock if our investment thesis has changed. Something's wrong with the company. Maybe the management is doing something we don't like, or it's affecting the business, or something in the business is happening and they're not doing stuff properly. So and that's going to affect the investment thesis on why we think the stock is going to go up or is going to be a long-term investment. If that changes, that's when we sell the stock. We don't want to sell a stock for non-investment reasons. That's what we don't want to do. If it's not an investment reasons to sell the stock, we're going to keep the stock. If we did the groundwork, we found this is a wonderful business, we got it at a good price, and we invest in it. So we got to make sure we're doing all those things to keep these strong companies in our portfolio and keep them for a long time. Guys, if you like what I talked about in this video, please like it, please subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to get back to you guys in the next video. See you later.